welcome back to your favorite channel, Drishti IAS. This is Divya Kawatra, your educator. How are you all doing? Hi everyone, welcome back. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you all doing? All well, good? Yeah? Yeah, meeting after a few days. I hope you all have been well. Due to certain circumstances, we were not able to continue the series, but we will be continuing now. Okay. I hope you're doing good. Yes? Studying well? All right, let's start the session, and we meet again to discuss the Hindu newspaper for the day. That is 4th of May, and we will be discussing all the important news. Okay, are you all ready? We'll also solve a few questions as per our pattern. You remember that, right? All right, all right, all right. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hello, hello, hi Harish. Hi, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. Okay, let's start. Are you all ready? Yes? Okay, let's start the session, and we'll be discussing our important news one by one, okay? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Okay. So let's begin with our first news, and we have for the first time government has come up with a very special policy regarding diabetes in India. Okay, so what is important here is that up till now what we used to believe that diabetes is something that only aged people get, right? Only elderly people get. It was considered as a kind of disease or kind of problem that only aged people would get. Only old age was the criteria where this would happen, right? But then again, now we've come across the structure where we have seen that number of increasing cases can be seen amongst children as well, right? For diabetes, we've seen increased number of cases in children as well. That's why this has become a very huge problem. So to cater that, government has come up with one of a kind policy to cater to diabetes condition. Okay, so we have both kinds of diabetes here. You do know that we have two kinds of diabetes, right? Diabetes 1 and 2. In first case, we have an insulin production from the pancreas, but our body is not able to consume that and break that into glucose and use that as a sugar, right? And in the second situation, because of the insulin resistance, we don't even have production of insulin, where external insulin has to be injected. Right. So both kind of diabetes are dominant. However, the second kind is largely getting dominated in India by the day. So to cater to that and to deal with that, government has come up with a policy. Okay. What kind of policy have we come up with? We've come up with the diabetes policy, especially to, cater that. To cater to that situation. And for that, what we are doing is, we're trying to build up resistance. Okay, what we are trying is that we build up resistance among the children. How do we do that? To build resistance among the children, we are trying that early intervention should be done. Okay, early intervention should be done so that we will be able to cater to the problem very quickly in an early stage before it grows into something bigger. Okay, so for that, what government has come up with is that 0 to 18 years of age, from 0 to 18 years of age, there will be constant monitoring of children. Constant monitoring of children, and this will be done by government for free. Okay, government is going to provide these services for free, just like vaccinations are given to children. Similarly, from 0 to 18 years of age, these will be the monitoring ages, so that we continuously keep checking on that, right? Because mostly what you see is any person who has gotten diabetes had diabetes for a very long time before it got detected, right? So for that, what we'll be doing is, from 0 to 18, we'll constantly monitor whether they have any signals, whether they have any symptoms, whether they have any signs of such structures. Yeah, is that clear? Exactly. So that's what we are going to do. How are we going to do? Government has come up with 4 T's. Okay. Government has come up with 4 T's. What are the 4 T's? We say toilet, that is increased urination. What are the symptoms that we see by which we can determine that there are chances that this person must be suffering from diabetes? To check that, we have 4 T's. What are the 4 T's? Number 1 is toilet, that is increased urination. If somebody is, constantly urinating, constantly going to use the restroom again and again and again, and right, so this must click as there's a problem. right? Secondly, there's thirsty. They have excessive thirst like constantly. And because of that excessive thirst, obviously, the first one, right? So the third is tired. They have extreme fatigue any time of the day, no matter how much they've slept, no matter how much they've eaten. They maintain everything and yet they have extreme fatigue throughout the day. Anytime you say they're tired, right? And the last one is thinner. They keep getting thinner and thinner and thinner by the day without any exercises, without any dietary changes, and they're losing constant weight. So these are like weight loss is something that happens on an extreme stage, right? When the diabetes has taken control over the body and large scale control over the body and insulin resistance is growing by the day. So with that, the weight loss comes. It is not initial symptom. Initial symptoms start from thirst and urination. Okay, so government has identified that we will be circulating structures where everybody gets awareness, and with this awareness they'll be able to identify whether they feel that they have such symptoms and they can get checked, and with that we'll be able to treat them. Okay, so that is what we have come up with. All right, is that clear? Yes? Yeah. So under the policy, government will be doing what? 0 to 18 years of age, free of cost testing, right? And they'll be given all the care and etc. that is needed, and the trainings to take care of themselves. Yeah? Yeah. That is our procedure. That is our structure that will be following under this policy. Is that clear? Yes? All right. Coming on to our next news. The next news, that is the government has come up with a major diplomatic outreach in May. So what is happening in May? In May, we are hosting BRICS Summit, okay, as we know. From 15th of May, it is going to start, and then multiple delegates are going to come. And even now, we are visiting multiple creating an outreach through delegations, and many of the nations are coming to visit India as well. So this delegation is going on before the BRICS, so that we have better understanding of how we are going to run the course of it, how we are going to support each other's needs, and how we are going to put forward each other's needs, right? So our Prime Minister is also going to visit multiple nations beforehand, and he's also already visiting, right? And along with that, he's also going to go to UAE now, right before it, because since the crisis is not visited UAE once, right? So now he's going to visit UAE as well. So what they're doing is they're building up these individualistic bilateral diplomatic ties so that they can be used on the BRICS platform. Once India is hosting, India will have an upper hand. So we'll get an idea of what the nations are thinking, what the nations are moving towards, and with that idea, we will be hosting our BRICS, right? So the only thing that you need to know here is that once BRICS starts, we will have more information about that, and we'll discuss more about that. For now, all you need to know is that we have come up with this delegation because we need an outreach program to make sure that India's interests are aligned with the nations that are coming forward, right? And if our interests are not aligned, that will become a problem for us. So to align that, we are creating an outreach program and visiting everywhere, right? And if we talk about BRICS, a little bit about BRICS, we'll see that the genesis, BRIC was coined by Jim O'Neill. Who did that? Jim O'Neill. And the formal summit was started in 2009. However, it wasn't BRICS yet, it was just BRIC. Please remember that. It was initially just BRIC. South Africa joined in 2010 after 2009's first summit. South Africa missed the first summit, joined in 2010 after 2009, and then it became BRICS. Now it has become BRICS Plus because there are multiple countries, and now you cannot add abbreviations for every country, right? If you do that, it will be a never-ending name. Right? We won't be able to pronounce that. UPSC would love that, right? So they'll start asking questions on it. But now we call it BRICS Plus. Okay, so we're calling it BRICS Plus with other countries that have also joined. There was a large expansion where Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and UAE all together joined in 2024 on January 1st. Right. Then in 2026, we see we have multiple agendas, and India is going to host that. What is our current theme? The motto is building for resilience, innovation, cooperation, and sustainability. UPSC loves this, and you know, whatever UPSC loves, you automatically have to love, right? So UPSC loves this, so you have to make sure that you remember that, right? So what is our motto? Building for resilience, innovation, cooperation, and sustainability. Is that clear? Yeah. Good morning. Good morning. Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. Okay. Clear? So exclusion, Argentina was invited, but not given the status, okay? And even we'll say Saudi Arabia was invited, but its status is still hanging because of the whole international issues, right? So these are the two nations that will soon join, but right now the condition is not clear on that. So we have Argentina and Saudi Arabia on standby for full membership. But other than that, these are the nations. If we talk about the members, we'll see from Middle East, we have full members like Iran, UAE, and partners are Saudi, because they still have partner status. Full membership status has not been updated yet. Yes? Okay. Africa, we have Egypt and Ethiopia. Nigeria is a partner country. Southeast Asia, we don't have full members. Europe, we don't have full members. We're still working on that. Okay. This is just a comparison of the status. Clear? Yeah. That's about our BRICS and the upcoming meeting. And we have different new development bank and all other things under BRICS. You must know that, right? And if you don't, then you'll obviously learn that in BRICS. Don't worry about that. Yes? Okay. So let's just solve a question on that. Yes? Shall we? Let's solve a question on BRICS. Basic question. Okay. Just try to solve this. Comment your answer and then we'll move forward to the next news. Yeah. Quickly solve the question. Give your answers. Done? Are we done? Yes? Okay. Let's see what the answer is. You can make your guesses. It's fine to guess, no issues. All right. The answer we have is B actually, 2 and 3. Okay, A was here. Sorry for that. We have 2 and 3. NDB operates in a weighted voting system. No. Weighted voting system is in World Bank and IMF. That's where we see it, right? So that is wrong. The rest of the two are correct. India is going to hold 2026. Yes, we just discussed that. We discussed the expansion also right now. Yes, exactly. All right, moving on to the next news. That is India sends army team to Cambodia for joint exercise. Nothing major. You just have to learn the exercise. Okay, just learn about the exercise. Which exercise are we conducting? India has sent where? To Cambodia. We've done Sinbax second. Okay, what are we doing? Sinbax 2. This is 2026 version. Okay, 2026 version, Sinbax 2. That is what we are doing. Let's understand about the exercise, however. The exercise name is Sinbax 2. Okay, that is clear, of course. That's fine. It happens. Now you'll never forget, right? So just don't forget now. Okay. So we have exercise Sinbax 2 from May 4 to 17. We will be conducting that. Where will we be conducting that? In Cambodia, we will be conducting it, Kampong. And the mandate comes from UN Charter, Chapter 7. And according to that, we are conducting international military exercise. All right. Indian participants will have 120 personnel from Maratha Light Infantry. From where? Maratha Light Infantry. Okay. Is that clear? Yeah. Maratha Light Infantry. Then we have Cambodian participants, 160 personnel from Royal Cambodian Army. Primary focuses are counter-terrorism and semi-urban combat. Okay, counter-terrorism and semi-urban combat. Clear? Objectives, interoperability and operational synergy. That is what we are going to do throughout this exercise. As you know, in every exercise there are some certain objectives. Sometimes they fight for cross-border infiltration. Sometimes they practice for terrorism. Different objects they start practicing for to exchange each other's expertise and ideas, right? So this is a joint exercise, Sinbax 2nd, 2026, India and Cambodia. Please remember that India and Cambodia. Prelims loves exercises, UPSC loves exercises, and always in every paper you'll see at least one question that has been asked out of the military or navy or air force exercises, right? Every year one question is asked. So remember that. Just make a collection of it. We have Sinbacks 2026. Let's solve a question on that, yes? All right. Yeah. You have a question before you. Quickly solve the question. Yeah. With reference to Sinbacks 2026 joint military exercises, you've been given 3 statements. Just read and see which of the statements you think is correct and not. Yeah. Quickly solve your question. All right, we have a few answers. Everybody drop in your answer, and those who have answered and enjoying the class, do hit the like button. Thank you so much for your support. Oh, you're beautiful people. Okay. Done? Are we done? Yes? All right, the answer here, we have statement 1 definitely correct. Statement 2 is not correct, but 3 is correct. So answer C, 1 and 3 only. Yeah. What is the answer? 1 and 3 only. All right. Second one is not correct. 2026 edition is scheduled to be held in India. No. We just read that it is scheduled to be held in Cambodia. Yes. Is that clear? Yeah. Exactly. That's why the answer is C. Good morning. Good morning. Hi, everyone. Let me remind you, we meet every day at 8:30 a.m. Okay. We meet every day at 8:30 a.m. So do join on time so that you attend the entire class and participate in the entire class. Okay. Yeah. All right, moving on to our next news. Just a fact for prelims. Just a fact for prelims. Recently, Azhikode Award has been given for the activist and writer. 2 people have gotten that award. One is Medha Patkar, social activist, who has been honored for advocacy. So this is basically an award given for lifelong social activities, contribution in the literature. In any field, it can be a huge contribution, and for that, this is given. Okay, what is given in this award? A citation and 50,000 rupees. That is the award. That is the recognition. Okay, so 2 people have got this. Who is that? Medha Patkar, social activist, and Perumal Murugan, Tamil writer. Okay, yeah. So he's been writing consistently on social issues, and because of that, this award has been given. And social activist Medha Patkar. Okay. Can you remember the 2 names? Yes. Can you remember the 2 names? Yes, Medha Patkar and Perumal Murugan. Will you remember the 2 names? These are the 2 people. Look at their faces. This will help you remember that. Okay. Yeah. Clear? If we talk about the award, awarding body is Sukumar Azhikode Trust. Prize 50,000 and citation. Primary criteria, just exceptional works in society and literature. That's all. Okay. Yeah. Selection head Katie Thomas. Location Kannur. Okay. Yeah. Solve a question. Solve a question based on this. Quickly solve a question. Done. About the Sukumar Azhikode Birth Sanitary National Award. Centenary, sorry, not sanitary. Centenary National Award. That went into a whole other direction. Oh my God. Okay. The answer we have is B. That is 1 and 3. Okay. The answer is 1 and 3 B. Because 2, no, 50,000. The amount is 50,000. We just discussed about that. Rest of the statements are correct. All right. Okay. Let's move forward. This one we've already discussed regarding the diabetes. Moving on to the next news, that is tackling takedowns. Okay. So tackling takedowns basically deals with a problem in India, that whenever you see anything has been published against authorities, against government, against policy, etc., so government just asks them to take it down. Right, like recently government issued an order that any of the posts degrading the conditions of the government or criticizing the government should be taken down on Twitter. Yes, now known as X. Do you know that? Do you remember such a thing that was happening? Yes? Yeah? Exactly. So this article just says that this whole online presentations and online citations and anything that is happening, government uses multiple tools to take down anything and everything that is published against the government. But isn't that a curb on the freedom of speech? What about our freedom of speech if government is going to continue to do this? Where does this go? Where does this go? And in a democracy, are we not really allowed to question the government or its actions? Yes? Yeah. So this online censorship that government has come up with, is it really, really, really democratic or just a tool to stop criticisms? Right? Yeah. So question has been raised on that. And they're saying that government uses multiple tools to actually curb our right. Okay. Government uses multiple tools to actually curb our right. That's not reasonable, right? Is it? Do you think that is reasonable? It won't be. Do you think that is democratic? No. If we are not able to criticize the government, if we are not able to speak anything, how are we to ever understand the real essence of our democracy? How are we to actually make it the rule of people? It is not the rule of people then. It is the rule of government, right? Isn't this reasonable restriction? Yes, 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 yes. Okay. So government is saying that we have reasonable restrictions naturally. If we are asking to take down AI videos and all that, that's fine. But the thing is, the process that you have issued, how do you explain the reason? See, we have multiple organs through which this is done. Let's say government is doing this through section 69A, through 79 of IT Act. Okay, these are being used. Through 69A, what happened was earlier, it was asked that if you have posted something, you give a reason why you have posted that. You give, prove that this is right. If you're saying something about the government, if you're criticizing the government, prove that this is right. Okay. Now to prove that, 48 hours were given. To prove that earlier, 48 hours were given. Now recently with the changes, what they've said is that within 3 hours, because of the Sahyog portal, have you heard of the Sahyog portal? Through Sahyog portal, government keeps a check on all the online matters, and based on that, they ask for takedowns, right? So the moment you post something, Sahyog portal is going to come up and say that, okay, this is not something that we allow, so you have to take it down. Now in 48 hours, they were given the time to explain why they posted that, prove how it is true, and then they can see whether this should be taken down or not. And government can give the reason within those 48 hours that why government wants it to be taken down. Okay, so government also has to come up with a reason, right? You cannot just ask, okay, take this down because we don't like it. It doesn't work like that, right? So government has to come up with a reason, like, okay, this is the reason we want you to take this down because this is causing distress, this is causing violence, this is causing, communalization, etc., whatever the reason be. Now in 48 hours, that was fine. But this has been reduced to 3 hours now. Now, do you really think that within 3 hours, this is possible for the person who has posted to come up with all the data and the reasons and the proof, and for the government to come up with proper reason? Do you really think 3 hours are enough to do that? And within 3 hours, who is judging this? Within 3 hours, you just take it down without any reason, right? So the applicability is in question. You understand that? The process is in question, that whether the process you've taken up, the strategy that you've taken up, the method that you've taken up, whether that is democratic, whether you are actually aligning with it and letting people have their freedom of speech while keeping reasonable restrictions, right? So that has come into question, and that is why it has been said that such processes should not be allowed, and there should be more time, there should be a structure. Yeah, exactly. So that has become a problem. Okay, so the Sahyog portal, the tools that are being used, and the amendment recently, the Twitter incident. So all these have aligned up to the structure that government is just taking down anything and everything that you say against them. So that way people don't really have freedom of speech. And how are we to use the online platforms when you are trying to use online platform to convey everything to the public? Why cannot public use the online platform to convey something to you? That we're not happy with this, you're not doing this right, this problem is not being catered to, right? Now, when a person tweets sitting on the road that, okay, to the Home Minister, they tweet that, okay, Home Minister, please come quickly. We are sitting on the road in the heat and, you're late. So Home Minister comes up and apologizes like, I was 10 minutes late. I'm very sorry for that. He personally comes and apologizes to them. He actually replies to them. Now, at that point, you don't think that social media is being used for random things? Why don't you go against that? Why don't you say that, okay, we understand, because people are using that platform to communicate to you, to feel like you are accessible, and you are also being accessible. That is very good. But then be accessible for everything, not just for the good things. Be open to constructive criticism, right? Yeah, that is what we're saying. That's all. That's the article. Okay. Yeah, that's the article. Clear? Okay, let's move forward, shall we? Next news is that doctors decide. Now, doctors decide, this whole thing comes up with a case of a 15-year-old child, 15-year-old girl who was raped and then impregnated. Okay. So now, see, abortion becomes a very huge issue in India, and because of that, now Supreme Court came in and said that, okay, we will allow her to have an abortion. Okay, now this raises a question like the abortion exceptions and what cases can be held. So court has said that, okay, such a young girl cannot be pushed to have a baby that she didn't even want, right? This was an extraordinary case. Based on that, an extraordinary decision where we are officially allowing abortion. Okay. So this is like, who will decide then, and what situation, whether it is fine or not? Okay, this was a 15-year-old girl, but doesn't that mean that even a 30-year-old woman or 35-year-old woman can also require an abortion because she just doesn't feel that her body can handle it? Shouldn't that be allowed then? Right? So this has raised a question like, this is fine, the decision is fine, we're not going against the decision, we're not questioning the decision. We're just saying that if this is the case, in every other case, who is to decide and what will determine whether it is convenient or not, whether it is fine or not, whether it is biologically possible or not, whether it is medically fine or not. And this should be done in consultation with the doctor, right? So Supreme Court says that this should be done in consultation with the doctor, that whether if doctor says that, okay, her body is not such that she can take it, what about her mental health? If her mental health is not such that she can take up that burden and she just doesn't want to go forward with it, wouldn't you allow that? Now, ultrasounds are not, given, the gender identifications are not done, that's fine. But before that comes a woman's right. Who will determine that? So this article is raising a question on that. It is not giving any answer as such. This is raising a question that this is something we have to deal with. All right. Yes? Okay. That's about it. And this was our paper for the day. There was another article regarding environment conditions. We will discuss that tomorrow. Okay. Yes. 31-week abortion one. Yes. Exactly. Right to life and all these things. But it is just raising a question like, who will determine that? Do we have to go to Supreme Court every time? We obviously cannot do that, right? Not everybody can do that. They're not educated enough even to understand that they have such rights to visit Supreme Court regarding this, right? Exactly. So that was our news for the day. Thank you so much for joining in. I hope you had a good session, and we'll see you tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Okay.